Before I go into the specifics of this study, I want to give you some scientific background and the research question that gave birth to this study. So as we mostly know that root rot complex is a very troublesome pathogen that continues to expand across Western Canadian provinces, particularly in those areas where peas and lentils are predominantly grown. And among the root rot complex, root rot pathogens such as Fusarium species is the ones that is very notably troublesome, including, of course, Aphanomyces. But today's subject is Fusarium species. And the available management options are very limited. And from this, crop rotation is the one that is highly advocated. However, the impact of crop rotation on the root rots of pulses caused by Fusarium pathogen and also its relationship with that of Fusarium head blights in wheat is not investigated. And the reason why we picked Fusarium species is because from the root rot complex pathogen, this pathogen has a wide range of hosts that commonly impact those other plants which are also part of our crop rotation system. So we want to understand the impact of this crop rotation on the Fusarium root rot and also relationship to that of Fusarium head blight in wheat. So this study is a 5-year project which aspires to answer 5 different research questions, of which I want to just describe 2 that I have selected for this fielding. The first objective is to understand the impact of this crop rotation on Fusarium root rot in pulses. So in the first year, this is a 5-year project, and in the first year, which is last year, wheat plants were inoculated with the disease causing the Fusarium species, 2 Fusarium species. And then the plants were harvested with the idea that straws will have disease-causing agent in the plant, and also enough inoculum will be left behind in the soil for the next cropping season. So which means that this is now year 2 study where we have canola and peas. As we can see here, if we look around, some of the peas, they don't really look good, and which is because of that root rot disease causing pathogen. So we also have canola, which is also part of our crop rotation system. And in that first objective, we use the first year as our foundational study, whereby we can leave enough inoculum in the soil so that can be sufficient enough to cause disease in this second year. And then the second objective is to understand the correlation between the Fusarium head blight in wheat, which we have last year, and also to see that impact in the root rot disease symptom. So for this, we will be collecting in that objective 2, we will be collecting disease symptom data. For example, for peas, we will be collecting root rot disease symptom. If you look around, the plants are showing that characteristic yellowing and wilting of lower leaves, and in some cases dwarfing, and even some of the plants are actually showing days for like the entire plant is actually died. So when plants are infected to that much, you don't really expect productivity. So we have, so our preliminary observation indicate that there is kind of link from last year to this year's study. The other study is we have to confirm this result with molecular study. Soil samples and as well as root samples will be collected from the pea plants, and then they will be assessed for the presence of that specific pathogen that was inoculated in the year 1, if they can progress along the crop rotation system. And if that is the case, well, crop rotation is highly advocated to protect plants from this deadly pathogen that result loss of productivity up to 100%. But does it really work when you have the pathogen known as Fusarium? Why Fusarium? Because it is a pathogen that has a wide range of hosts infecting common crops that we have within our cropping system. So I don't know if you have the chance later on or even now, if you look around, the plots are really showing disease symptom, that characteristic. And in our disease scoring protocol, what we do is we dig out the plants, we wash the roots, and we see root rot disease symptom. We rate according to a defined protocol that is common around here in Western Canada. And I think this is my presentation regarding this upload. But if you have question, I would love to elaborate on that one. Okay, so the available management option for crop root rot complex is very limited, such as the available ones, such as the use of seed treatments, fungicide, registered fungicide. There are also biologicals, which happens to be not working as great as we want them. And also the other is crop rotation. And the complex part of that disease is, as the name implies, it is caused by a complex pathogen, which involves, for example, the species known as Pathium species, Rhizoctonia species, Aphanomyces, and multiple Fusarium species. When all these co-occur together, disease management is very tricky. But the best practice is to have integrated pest management approach, which involves the use of good variety seeds and also treated seeds, and also using best agricultural practice, which is crop rotation as well, which this study is actually focusing mainly. If this pathogen occurs as a complex together with other root rot causing pathogen in legumes, peas are the ones that are highly susceptible. Yes, this is fully irrigated, and the reason why we fully irrigate, because root rot disease, they love water, right? Water is the main mechanism by which spores are carried from one plot to another, or from one infected plant to another, and then by so doing they find that susceptible root and they break open the root. Some they release chemicals that lies the cell wall component of the plant, and they will have access to get into the plant and they cause disease. So to make this study even more ideal, we have to irrigate so that we are creating conducive environment for the pathogen to propagate. Okay, so here we inoculated two Fusarium species last year. Well, the first one was Fusarium avanacem, and second one is Fusarium graminearum. I'm glad that you asked that question, because from all the Fusarium species, Fusarium avanacem is the most deadly pathogen. So you can see how concerning this root rot disease is all over Western Canada. And when it comes to economy, the agricultural economy, peas and lentils are the backbone of Saskatchewan agriculture. So we need to really find a solution. Which one of could be this one? But we have to investigate and find a solution.